That is genuinely fascinating, isn't it?
So we're going to take a quick
crazy.
break?
No,
No?
let's keep on going.
All right.
I don't need a break. I was just looking at my watch to find out how much time we got. We got about 15 minutes anyway.
Well, we're not going to run out of disk space, you know.
Well, I know that.
There's lots.
Because I wasn't hungry before everybody started talking about food.
Susan started talking about food, and now we're going to go out.
But the concept of going out for some chicken wings, or if I wasn't
some sashimi.
If I wasn't on Atkins, I'd say we should go down to the Red Robin for their onion ring, Tower of Onion Rings, which is just fantastic.
Anyway.
Or Kelsey's for an onion
loaf.
No, Kelsey's for.
All you can eat hot wings.
Is it all you can eat hot wings now?
Yeah.
When?
Mondays and Tuesdays and possibly Wednesdays.
Well, if it's not Wednesdays.
I think it's Wednesdays.
Well, if it's Wednesdays, but phone them and find out. Anyway, because my favorite place, of course, is any restaurant in the city of Vancouver. My favorite place is Robson's Sushi, and it's all you can eat sushi. Magnificently prepared.
I mean, I can go to an all you can eat place, but I don't get the value because I can't eat that much. I'm a diabetic. I'm a diet-controlled diabetic.
Yeah, I absolutely get that value at Robson's Sushi.
Yeah, I know, which is why you're on Atkins.
This didn't come on easy.
1996, I lost 45 pounds because I turned diabetic. You're so lucky. All you have is the extra weight to haul around. I don't have that anymore, thank you.
I remember when that happened, and I visited you in the hospital.
Yeah.
I've actually lost almost 50 pounds since
I expect
October
over your life you've probably lost several thousand.
In 2003, I lost 100.
You're losing it and putting it back on.
In 2003, I lost 132. Anyway, CTV even did a national show on my weight loss with my belt at that time.
And who did we have in here yesterday?
Butts
Giroux. And you asked me why I know that name, beside the fact that he's a friend of yours and keeps popping up every now and then. The belly flop contest.
World champion belly flopper. And we should have brought him over and done a little tape of him at that time, a little interview for the future.
Yeah.
We'll get him over.
We'll get him in here. He's got dog's ear T-shirt.
Dog's ear T-shirts all over the place. It's actually interesting. We have enough interesting people come in here. I have a nuclear submarine captain coming in the next couple of weeks. We've really got to set this thing up so that...
you had somebody's pilot. Whose pilot?
The Shah of Iran. Well, Mady Maniri has been on a couple. Was on the Shah program, or the Rogers program a couple of times.
That's right, yeah.
And we had the personal portrait office. I'm just talking about people that have been on television or they come... But if I just take
Jillian Guess, you had her on 3 times.
Yeah, and we got a tape we could run.
Actually, I believe I've got an archive. We'll run it. Well, if you go to david-ingram.com, there's at least one of the Jillian Guess tapes up there. I have a whole bunch more.
David-ingram.com.
That's right, David.
And if you go down there and look for archives, you'll find the Jillian Guess, where she exposes. Now, I want you to understand that I am now breaking a court order, a judge's court order.
All right.
There is a judge's court order that says it is illegal for me to say what I'm about to say, so I'm happy to say it again. Eugene Assange, remember Jillian Guess was the juror and ended up having an affair with...
She had a movie made about her, for God's sake.
Well, the love crimes of Jillian Guess. You can look up. Jodie Collins played Jillian on the thing, and anyway. Peter Gill was who she had the affair with. And we'll have to get Jillian to come in and talk about this again. That's who she had the affair with. And it turned out there was a secret hearing within the trial where she wasn't allowed to hear what had happened. She wasn't allowed to know what was going on. And we discovered the information by accident. And the information was that Peter Gill's brother, Paul Gill, was the best friend of Eugene Assange, who was the Attorney General while this trial was going on, and while Jillian was being prosecuted.
Yeah.
And he went on to become whatever. And we had at that studio that day, I may put one in that wasn't there, and I may miss one, but we had Sun and Province and CTV and CBC camera crews. We had major video and major reporters in the studio when we made this announcement. And not one of them had the balls to run the thing because they were afraid of getting sued because of this court order. But it was an amazing thing. Now, what I didn't recognize at the time, and this gets even funnier, is that when I ran for mayor of Vancouver in 1978, Paul Gill, the brother of Peter Gill, the accused murderer, and the best friend of Eugene Assange, and when Eugene Assange became premier of the province, the fellow that held arms up with him, remember, another East Indian fellow, Paul Gill is, the two of them held up, that was Paul Gill. Yeah. So, the picture that went around the world, because he was the first, whatever. Anyway, Paul Gill was my fundraiser when I ran for mayor of Vancouver in 1978. I didn't know that at the time. I mean, there's like 50 Paul Gills in town.
Yep.
It
was that one.
Yeah, there's another Paul Gill that's, for instance, in the limousine business, and he was in the hassles with Mo Sahota, if you remember. Mm-hmm. And I apologize to Paul Gill for castigating you on that program because you did a good job raising money for me in 1978. Never, watch out. It's another Richard C. Pitt, right?
David, you've touched on something that's near and dear to my heart, and that's the fact that the world doesn't forget anything anymore.
Well, they can't.
The internet. I mean, this phenomenon that I became part of back in the late 80s, and that and the tremendous growth of disk storage facilities. I mean, there's a couple of computers sitting here that between the two of them have almost a terabyte of disk. And those are old drives that I'm not using anymore. We now buy one drive that's a terabyte and a half. In my house, you came over when the inspectors came to inspect my house because they figured that I had a grow up because I used so much electricity in my house.
Well, Mitchell was out there with me.
Mitchell was out there.
Do you know what my electric bill for the last 3 months has been?
Well, yeah, but you got a heat pump now.
Just saying, you know what my electric bill is? Make a guess.
$1,000 a month?
No, it was $1,800 for the last 3 months.
For 3 months?
It might have been
That's $600 a month.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's way over the average for this area, and 4 times what it was last year.
I'm surprised you haven't been inspected.
Well, that's why I'm waiting for the marijuana inspection police to come.
But anyway,
for the grow up.
The reason that I use all this electricity is that in my house at that time I had 8 computers, each with 3 terabytes of disk on it.
Because you were recording
I
Eagles.
had all of the Eagle data that we had from 2 years from several sites. And
you had all my stuff, and you had a whole bunch of other stuff too.
I back up.
You back up my system.
I back up the lawyer, all of these people. And the point is that what I have is minuscule compared to, for instance, Google or Yahoo or AOL or all of these companies that have disk farms. Well, Google now takes a 40-foot container full of computers and things and drops it at the end of a piece of fiber optic, and in that there are many, many terabytes of disk that your Google Gmail and all of the search engine results and all that. The Wayback Machine, which is the Internet Archive, so to speak, has pictures of the old Whimsy pages from back in 1993-94.
Molson Indy,
Molson Indy, things
World
like
Cup.
that. The website. If you do something on the internet, or if something about you is published on the internet, it is there forever. Make sure it's right, because if it's not, you're tarred forever. Yeah. Now, one of the things, and you'll know specifically about me, I don't use an alias on any of the sites that I'm on.
Well, I use Taxman, but most of the time I'm David Ingram.
Mine is Richard Pitt, or RC Pitt if somebody else has got, or Richard. But I make no bones about who I am.
Yeah,
on the internet, you can get in touch with me.
Yeah.
And there are so many people that I run across on the net who hide behind, or try and hide behind, an alias. But with the Hancock Wildlife Foundation, we have so many people signing up with us. We do searches on aliases. We find out about people. Just from their alias, I can tell what kind of a person they are, because I see all the posts that they post on all of the other sites.
Yeah. Well, I do that. Well, just for the record, if you happen to be if you email me something, before I answer a question, because you know I answer a lot of questions,
Yes.
I do a search on the email address.
Yep.
And if I don't find it, I likely don't answer it.
Mm-hmm.